And today we're going to talk about how we can take a Flask application and use Docker to deploy it on Google Cloud Run. And it's going to be using a Google Cloud SQL Postgres database. So this is going to help teach you how to write a Docker file to build an application, run a Flask app with Docker, and be able to build a Postgres database in Google Cloud SQL, and be able to connect that database both locally and with Google Cloud Run to your running application. And then we'll learn how we can take our Flask application in Docker and deploy it using something called Google Cloud Run. It's a service from Google to deploy containerized apps. So, kind of an overview. This is what we're going to build to start with. We're going to take our task list API Flask project, and we're going to put it in a Docker container and run it on our local computer. And so when web browsers come to our local computer on port 8080, it will get forwarded to the container and to the app. And we're going to have the app talk to Postgres on our local computer to start with, and then we're going to transition it so that it talks to a Google Cloud SQL database. So in the finished product, we're going to deploy our app using Google Cloud Run. So this will be off on the internet. And so when the browser goes to port 80 on our Google Cloud URL, it will get forwarded inside the container on port 8080 to our task list. And meanwhile, our task list will be able to talk to a Postgres database on Cloud SQL. All right. And so in the first lesson here, we're going to set up our code so it's a bit more modular so that we can use environmental variables to connect to different databases. Then we're going to Dockerize the app, so get it to run with Docker. And then lastly, the Docker part's the longest, lastly, we're going to go into Google Cloud and get our app to work there. So we'll set up Google Cloud and set up our database. And then our last video, we are going to get it to run with Google Cloud Run. All right, so let's get started.